Almost go time. What's up? Make sure I got my green light. Yep. I cleaned out my port on my phone, so I don't think I'm gonna have the microphone problem anymore. It had a ton of stuff down in there. Looking down in there, it didn't look like I had much stuff in there, but that's why my port wasn't really loose. It was just so much stuff in there was causing my microphone not to go in all the way. What's up, Andres? What's up, Ben Riley, Erica, Clint, Jeff, Lance, Matt, Someway, Jeff. I don't know if I missed anybody. I think I saw Lance Anderson up there earlier. I just scrolled through the pregame. I didn't get caught up on it. What's up, Marshall? Kate, Marshall, Kateso. Probably butchered that. Someway loves his logos. Yeah, I emailed him that after the the trade. So I'm drinking some Cafe Olay medium roast Texas pecan. Jeff Bowery sent me that, so appreciate it, Jeff. That's what I'm drinking. I just now finally got to open it today. So that's what I'm drinking now. It's pretty good, actually. Little Texas pecan. What's up, Terry? Hope your wife's doing well. Still no Death Wish coffee, Matt said. No, I haven't got any yet. The day I was at Kroger and I was asking some of you, like, what's a coffee that I can get at Kroger, just because I was looking for something different. And they didn't actually have any Death Wish there, which I think pretty much, I know the other Kroger I normally go to, I think I've seen it there, but I didn't see it at that Kroger. Jeff Bowery, HEB. Yeah, I think it was by HEB. I saw that up there at the top. What's up, Sizzleneck? Tools with Tim. I also did get in the mail, so I just had the video for my blackout. I bought these at Lowe's and had them shipped to the house. Well, in the meantime, I was having a hard time. Like, my Lowe's wasn't showing up yet, and then Clint was able to get a hold of his, or the Tool Collector 72. He's got multiple names on here. I got his in the mail that he sent me today, so I've got these now too. Tim from the campsite. Tim's camping. Andre's got my new Klein Pro Flex set today. I've actually got that. Did you buy the bigger set, like the one with the ratchet and all that stuff? Because they call several things the Pro Flex, but I think that's what you're talking about. I've actually got my coffee cup sitting on that in my 5-drawer to keep it level. What's up, Roy? Denny O Fools. Terry said she's at home. Go back for more surgery in 4 to 6 weeks. So glad that she got to come back home. So hopefully those surgeries will go well too. You got the mini ProFlex set, so all of those dudes back there, the little guys. Did you get were you able to get the one with the ratchet yet? That's on Amazon. I haven't seen anywhere else. Anybody else seen this anywhere besides Amazon yet? I mean, maybe House of Tools or somebody has it. I don't know, but like Lowe's, I haven't seen this in Lowe's yet. The one with the little mini ratchet. Finally did see it on Amazon. I made a post about it. Mini U.S. General toolboxes go on sale tomorrow for $13. Clint said, so if you've been in the market to get one of those, $13. What was that brand, Matt? Matt sent a picture of, I don't remember what the brand was, but it had like 5 drawers in it. It looked pretty neat. And then also, I didn't know that Lowe's had them, but Lowe's has the Cobalt boxes that are like the U.S. General. See, I think they're like $21 or something like that. But they've also got like a base that's got like the where you can set that mini box on the top of it for like $30. I just now saw those in my Lowe's. I don't know if they've been out before, but my Lowe's never had them until here recently. Erica said Clint doesn't need them. Ben said the mini ratchet is awesome. I snagged one and loved it. Matt said Acme. He thinks Acme has the small ratchet. Testing out your tent in the new tent in the backyard. Now they'll be more easily lost in the veto bag. Somebody said about the blackout. Yeah, every time I do a blackout video, there's always 4 or 5 comments. And like I tell them, I comment and reply back to every one of them. I understand that. I just like the look of blackout tools, which my blackout like this, this always stays in here. That's why you always see it in my videos. Like I don't use this in my work. This is out here, and if I'm doing something around here or I'm going in my house, instead of getting in my truck and getting out something, sometimes I just grab this little one and I bring it back out here and just set it back there. So that's why it's always in here on my workbench. Like I don't take that with me because I would never end up probably using it much in my work because I'm always going to grab my MP2X or whatever just to have a few more tools. Andres had all 3 and the other, and then ordered the Amazon on Saturday. Let's see. Lance got it on Amazon, arriving Tuesday. What all y'all buy for the? I'm going to save my stuff because I think I'm probably just going to do a video of what I bought on Prime Day. I think I bought like 4 or 5 things. Really nothing exciting, but just curious what all you guys might have bought on Prime Day if you found any really good deals. I need to change my chat to all comments. I always forget to do that. Let's see. Then it puts them in the right order. Terry's got his mini Klein ratchet set from Amazon today. Pit. Matt said Pit. So if you haven't seen those, like if you've been in the market for a small little toolbox, maybe you want to throw one on your workbench or whatever, Pit has one that's got a few more drawers in it. Look like it's pretty nice. TPG's got the Cobalt. What's up, Breaking Free? Cobalt doesn't have good rollers. Drawers aren't very smooth. I bought the U.S. General one just because I like the red and the black, and I don't think the Cobalt. I don't even know if my Lowe's ever had a red Cobalt one. I don't know if there even is one, but most of the Cobalt ones had the silver drawers and stuff on them. So I figured even if they had a red one, it's probably silver drawers. What's up, Lexi? Matt says he jokes about it, knowing people are going to moan. I saw your video on the Klein bit holders and grabbed them. Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, they're about this. There's not a lot of difference between them and the Railer are very similar. The Klein and the Railer. The Carabiner is one of those things that maybe some people would prefer one over the other, but they're pretty similar. Most people like the bits pulling forward, like and I agree with that. Like I don't know if there's a reason why. Maybe stuff comes out a little bit too easy, but no matter what, you're going to have it one way or the other. I kept a set of these in here. Let's see. Because like on the Klein ones, you've got where you got to push it back. So like to go back and get this bit out, you're going to have to push forward on that and then try to get that with one hand. If you want to do it one-handed, you can do it. But the nice thing about the Klein and the rest of them is you just push this bit in. So again, you can do it one-handed. Maybe not though. I'm actually holding this here, so you might. Let me see if I can do it this way. You push forward, so it's kind of hard. I don't think I got that in there right or something. It's pretty hard to get the leverage on that, but you can do it if you really try. But again, who wants to sit there and focus on that the whole time? But the Amazon ones, because you pull forward on them, You can just come in here and grab it, pull forward, and slide it out. It's one-handed. I'll do it. Let me do it here without holding on to something there. You know, that's a lot easier. So most people like that, but maybe that's the reason why. So it's one way or another. I can't just push the Amazon ones in. I've got to pull forward on the Amazon and then push that up in there, which you can still do that one-handed too. Like you can go like this, pull forward, sit it in there. But with the rest of them that you pull backwards, you just take your bit and just push it in there. You don't have to do anything. So maybe there's something about the pulling forward. I don't know if any of you have some out there that you pull forward and it lets you just push the bit into it and not have to do anything when you push the bit in. But maybe there's something to the pulling forward doesn't allow you to have the collet to where you can just push the bit in there and, you know, not have to do anything to it. Marshall, that's my name. Let's see, Marshall. What's up, Keys? Jeff got the mini ratchet today. Lexi had 3 things in my cart, hoping the price would go down. Went up by $30. Yeah, whenever Prime Day quit. So I ended up not getting the Work Pro ratcheting wrenches. I didn't order those. I decided I was just going. I don't necessarily need them. It's been one of those things that's on my back burner of, you know, if I come across a set I like and it's at a good price, I'd like to have a set of flex head ratcheting wrenches. I've got stuff where every time I've ever run into the situation, I can make it happen. So it would be a garage set, not something I'm going to put in my truck or anything like that. But I ended up getting something else instead. So then that made me hold off on buying those. A buddy of mine did buy the regular ratcheting wrenches from Work Pro. I don't know why I can't say Work Pro. He's going to bring them and let me see them. Breaking Free loves both of the U.S. Generals. U.S. General coming out with those new colors. Can't wait, Roy said. Does U.S. General have a bottom box like for theirs too? Not yet, maybe. I haven't seen one, but I don't, like I said, I don't go in Harbor Freight and just go looking around like crazy sometimes. I usually only go in there whenever I absolutely know what I'm going in there to get. What's up, Michael Benucci? TPG said he didn't get anything remarkable this time. A USB rotary tool and a bit set. Lexi said for her, it's a tiny bit easier one-handed to pull forward. Yeah, I think the pull forward is easier for sure to get them off. I just don't know if there's I don't know if there's one. I like being able to just push them in there. So it's either you got to pick your poison. Do you prefer it being easier to get them off or maybe easier to put them on? It's one way or the other. I don't know if there's one out there where you can pull it forward and then also just push the bit in and not have to do anything to it. Abraham said being able to just insert bits and not worry about messing with the collets what convinced me to go from brushless to fuel on Milwaukee. Yeah, that has been a big, it's a small change like inside of all the impact drivers and all that, but it's been super nice that you can just, you know, grab a bit and throw it in without having to, you know, do anything. Which, see, now this collet is a pull forward collet. It's not a bit holder. Again, I don't know if there's any bit holders out there that do this. So this is a pull forward collet, pull the bit out, but it's also just a push the bit in. So I don't know why they can do it on this and wouldn't be able to do it on, you know, one of those. Try the Milwaukee tool, but don't know how much they are. What did I pay for my Milwaukee ones? I ordered them off Home Depot. I think they're around $20. I can't remember off the top of my head though. Killtronics ordered an N12 hanger drill. I'm guessing that's an M12 hammer drill at the tool shop yesterday. I got I keep one of them in my truck that I just use it. It's my older one I use it to mix drywall mud in my drywall pans. And that's the only thing I even use it for. I leave it in my truck just for that. That way I don't have to crazy clean it. It gets drywall splatter and drywall dust all over it. I mean, I still clean it, but I don't clean it to the degree of what I clean my other ones. But the new one, I like it. Like, it's pretty nice. I don't like the chuck on the older one as much. That's why I'm using it for my, drywall mud drill. It seems like it always came loose on me some. But yeah, this one's pretty nice. It works fairly well as a hammer drill too, for as small as it is. Clint said no bottom on the U.S. Generals yet. Maybe they'll come out with some. I'm still needing to go into Harbor Freight and see if I can get an Icon mat. I mean, I've got the Jersey Discount Tool one, which is pretty similar probably. But I'm going to go ahead and get an Icon one too, since it's more black with the red outline instead of red with the black outline. And I use those all the time for all sorts of stuff, so I'm going to leave it in here. The M18 SDS Plus hammer drill with the forge is so good. Power feels competitive with corded. Harbor Freight parking lot sale starts tomorrow. Matt got the tiny step bits that Doc was showing after they sold out last time. What's up, Pie Guy? Breaking Free, did you ever pick up the Weehaw electric screwdriver yet? I want it, but not for $230. They're talking about the one that the Handyman Experience guy uses all the time. It's the Weehaw Speedy or something like that. So I watch him use it in all his videos, and we were talking back and forth about it, but I don't think I'll spend $230 on it either. The Vessel ones work just fine for me for what they are. Someway says there's 2 Chinese bit holders with quick insert. One is identical to the Vessel ball style, just a different pattern on the rubber, and the other is steel with striped aluminum collar. Lexi got their M12 hammer drill stolen. Yeah, he said left the truck door open. Yeah, I've only seen that happen in my town one time. It was somebody I knew, and they left the tailgate open and were like cutting stuff, and they were like pretty close, like to where they would. So they were going out cutting stuff, coming back in, and somebody walked right by and grabbed their saw. I don't ever do that. Like, even if I'm working somewhere, I'm like, nothing's going to happen here. I still don't do that. Like, I don't leave my stuff, because you never know when somebody, even though you might be in an area that is not normal, just somebody driving by, sees it or whatever. You can get an EU Speedy from Amazon, DE or UK, cheaper usually. Steve said, did you see the email I sent you? The new Klein bag that looks like a Vito, Steve Rivera. Yeah, I actually just saw your email today. I don't know how I missed it, because it was a few. I was going back through looking for, because sometimes I get the Guest to Trade emails and I respond back and say, I'll get you on the list, but I don't have the time. Like, I get them on my phone, and at some point in time, I go back through and download the pictures and move them over to my computer. And I saw yours today and responded back. You and Lieutenant Colombo, he just sent me that too, and that was asking me about it's a Klein backpack that's kind of newer or something like that. I hadn't seen it like in a store or anything like that. I've also got 2 big boxes over here I got from Klein today. I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Tools and Tactics based on the boxes. Lexi said they took the M12 driver, not the installation driver. They've never seen the installation driver type of tool before. They didn't even know, they weren't sure what it was. Killtronic said I was putting door contacts on a bunch of doors and my M18 was getting heavy. Yeah, I don't really use the only time I use M18 or my triple hammer or any of that stuff as if I'm wearing a vest and I'm doing like more major work, I would call it. It's not that it's really major work, but just like that's the beauty of the M12 to me, is just every service related call, just in general. It's just it's way less weight, and 90% of my stuff I can use it. So it's just you got to think about over the course of time, even it might only be a couple pounds, but that's a couple pounds for like every day for a few years or whatever it is. That's going to add up over time. I think Last Best Tool put a video of the Icon Matt holding a sledgehammer. I think he finally got a good mat. Like I don't know if he's put out any more since the last one I watched, but he got another mat, like the second mat, and it was holding better than his first one. Lance Anderson asked if anybody saw the new SBLD Blackout. I got the email from Vito for that as well. I didn't see that they added a metal plate on the top for magnets. I didn't see that though. I don't even think I opened the email. I just saw, because I assumed it was the same thing as Blackout. So if the Speedy's torque, Matt says the Speedy's torque is not as much as the vessel's high torque, then yeah, I for sure, if it wasn't a more powerful screwdriver than the vessel, I for sure wouldn't spend $230 for it then. Although I guess that's the one difference. I think it's like an insulated powered screwdriver and takes insulated blades, but I mean, I'm still not going to pay $230. I'm just using an insulated screwdriver in those few instances, because most of the time I work with my vessel, I'm not using it on stuff anyways that's got power. Jeff said Titan straps just got delivered. I'm really liking mine. That's just like I keep a extension ladder on top of my truck, and I extended out. Like I had to go get some 16-foot 1x4s for the wall that I was showing in the drywall pan video, the one I put that first coat on. It was 14 foot something wide, and I was capping it off with 1x4s at the top. And then I had to go buy 1x4s for the door trim and all that stuff too. So I was like, well, if I'm going to get 16 footers for the top trim, I'm just going to go ahead and get all 16 footers, and I'll cut my door trim and all that stuff out of that too. But I can just take a 16-foot board, throw it on the top of that ladder, and then that kind of braces it hanging out from my truck on both sides. And then I just take those Titan straps and strap it down to my ladder, and then I've got my ladder strapped down with Titan straps onto my truck, and I have zero problems with anything moving. They've been working. I definitely like the straps on my ladder better than I was always using the whatever they call them, the ratchet straps that you don't really ratchet, whatever they're called. I forgot what the technical name is, where you just pull it through and it's got the little teeth clamp. That's the ones I was using before, and it's always like feeding that through there to be able to do it and take it all the way off. That was a little bit of an ordeal sometimes, especially once your end got frayed a little bit. I'd always sit there and burn them and do all that, but it was just a big hassle. Well, those Titan straps is like way better. Plumman said, how long do you finish the garage? I haven't really done much since I even made that video. I put the trim on my garage door opening, so that whenever the garage door company calls and says that the door's in, it's all ready for them to come put it in. And then I went ahead and put the trim on the doors up here, since I was out doing it anyways. And then other than that, that's all I've really done. I went around and did some caulking and stuff like that. I'm planning on working tomorrow. I got my double window in, so that's in. I'm going to get it put in, and I'm going to start on the siding, but I can only work maybe like a half a day tomorrow. Guys, I've just been super busy. Like everything's all hit where I was while I was getting it under roof, I was really not working very much at all other than here. And then that got me behind, and now I'm playing catch up. And so I haven't really worked on it much. I've got all my siding for the exterior sitting right here along with my double window. And then I've got all my siding. I went ahead and bought the same kind of stuff for the interior because I got a crazy good deal on it. And then I've got it in my enclosed trailer, so that I'll already have it. I just got to find time to work on it. Basically, I'm only going to be working on it in between whenever I just don't have something to do. I'm hoping to get the siding up before too long, though, because before too long it's going to be too cold to paint. So I want to get it up so I can get it painted before the winter and all that stuff. But it's pretty much a fit-in job now instead of I just took off like to work on it. Marshall, Klein clamps. I'm assuming so. I haven't opened the boxes, but they look just like the boxes that Tools and Tactics was opening. So I'm assuming that's what's in there. Mellow Tough now has a knockoff of the MPX without the kickstand. Terry got a bunch of Bosch, DeWalt, Crest, and Apex and bits and bobs from Lowe's on clearance under $2, most for $1 and change. Yeah, mine's had a bunch of bits back there in the back too, in that back aisle clearance. Home Depot has a deal on the 8 amp hour and 5 amp hour Forge batteries for like $230, I think, with the fast charger. Yeah, I don't have any Forge batteries yet. I did get some. The only thing I've got on clearance lately at Lowe's, I got a bag of grass seed sitting over here. It was like a $90 bag. They had them clearanced off for $25, and I'm gonna need, some for whenever I get to the point of this, which I can probably do that before too long. I was waiting for it to not be so hot. Magmat gate is over on Last Best Tool. Yeah. Plumbing said I want a Vessel electric for when I go to tub clogs and they got those long flats. Yeah, like on the lever mechanism, like the overflow. Yeah, that's what it's great for. Like even like fixture screws for light fixtures, doorknob screws, all those things where like I go ahead and get them started, because you don't want to just take off on stuff and then and then just eats up all them threads. You don't have to sit there and turn your wrist. Killtronics, my vehicle's locked at all times, and when at home, it sits under 3 cameras. Surfboard straps. No, I'm not too far down. I was checking to see how far I'm in the weeds since y'all are just now talking about Titan straps that I talked about 10 minutes ago. What's up, Woodchuck? Where's Amanda when you need her? Her and my son just left to go walking. She just got back from drop. I watched grandbaby maintenance this morning, so I didn't work this morning and watched her, and then she went and dropped her off, and now they're gone walking. What's up, Elliot? Matt said he's got to start putting away Vito's spring promo money. Hopefully they still have it. We'll see. Somebody said one day the hummingbird will return. I hope not. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine about that. He said, yeah, he runs a cabinet shop. And he said, yeah, I get them in my garage. He said, I'll find dead ones in my garage all the time where they get in there. And he didn't even know they're in there, but they can't get out. So grandbaby maintenance have the first set of chewable tools. Chews on about anything right now. She's got carrot that she like a teething carrot or whatever she chews on all the time. I think that was all that I was gonna. I've got, like I said, I've got one more, maybe two more Prime Day things that haven't been delivered yet, but I got a few things that I picked up that like I said, I'll probably make a what I got on Prime Day video. And then I got a product that I think comes out next week that I got to make the video for and schedule for whatever day that is next week. I'm trying to think. That's all that I can think of. Oh, next Thursday. I don't know that I'll have a live next Thursday. Don't know 100% sure that I won't, but a pretty good chance that I won't. I may have to do it another day like I did last week. I don't know for sure yet, but I almost forgot that. I was going to mention at the very beginning. I almost forgot. So next Thursday, there may not be one. I'll make a post once I know for certain, but just a heads up. And if I have time, I'll just do it another day like I did last time. And then the guess the trade, because it's going to be tight for me to be able to get that done next week too. But the guess the trade, the reload this week. So that means I don't have to wait for an answer. So I'll probably go ahead and try to film the next one maybe this weekend if I have time, so that I can go ahead and get it uploaded for Saturday too. Killtronics missed. Yeah, I think I did it on a Saturday. I did it on Saturday. I don't remember what time it was, like maybe 4:30 or something like that. My time. Steve's got a video coming out tomorrow. Needs a teething wrench. That Vito Pro Pack, crazy price on that. Yeah, it's expensive, but they've been by far my favorite tool bags. Like, it's something about, again, maybe it's a placebo thing because you spend so much money on it, but I don't think it is. Like, I can tell a big difference taking my tools in and out of the pocket, especially like the MP pouches are the best pouches I've ever had, like bar none, not even close. Just the way that stuff goes in and out of them, they're kind of, they're not flexible, but they are. And then I don't know, it's just different. They're by far the best pouches I've had, and they've been my favorite bags too. And in all honesty, I've got a lot of bags, but I could still be using the very first Vito bag if that's what I wanted to do. The very first one I bought, you know, 5, 6, 7, 10 years later, still be using that same one. In my line of work and how, I do work. Now, if you're in some really bad like environment, harsh stuff and all that, they might not last as long. But I could buy one Vito bag and it would last me my whole, rest of the time of me working. I'm pretty confident in that. Climb box video, Prime Day video coming. Yeah, Plumbing said Vitos are truly made for tradesmen to have over time. Lexi said my bag still looks new. Wipe off the dust and dirt, and it's pretty. Yeah, like I said, I don't have my. I mean, I ran the MCT blackout up there. I ran it solid for, I don't know, 2 years or something like that, and it still looks like it's brand new. I don't know if, yeah, y'all can see that. I mean, it's got a little bit more light black color to it than as black as it was whenever I first bought it, type thing. But it's still pretty nice. But again, I'm like Lexi. I clean mine ever so often and do all that kind of stuff. We need Velocity bags. They do look like they make some pretty good bags. Miss Maintenance might be listening about the Lifetime Vito bag. I buy the Vito bags just for what do I want to call it? Research. Like I'm R&D for you guys on Vito bags. I buy them, run them for a little while, and see. I don't ever hardly buy one though unless it's the spring promo. and I'm getting free bags. The MCTP, which I bought and got the free bag. Now, if that one would have just so happened to come out in the middle of the year and I saw it and it was infrared and black and red and it basically was my favorite bag, but with the 2 side pouches, I've been like, man, I don't know. I think I need to buy that one, even without getting the promo. But other than that, I always wait for the free stuff. And I've sold multiple of mine over the years. Like I'll buy it, get a free one. I'll sell that one later, to where I haven't really paid full price for very many of mine. I'm just saying that, Terry, in case Miss Maintenance is listening. Break and Free said, I think you and the Handyman Experience should do a collab. That would be a fun one. Yeah, I don't have like any kind of contact for him. I guess I could look. I don't know if he's got his email and stuff on his thing. I don't know if he'd be interested in doing like a live like what me and Steve did. I keep getting my sponsors popping up and blocking the chat off. Thank you for Veto Research. Call his company. He'll take your call, Matt said. He's one of the few ones that I actually watch almost probably every single one of his videos that comes up, but it puts him in my feed a lot, but I guess it's because I watch him all the time. Like as far as the working videos, sometimes it goes in spurts. Like I'll see some Ted Cook stuff every once in a while, but then I won't. But again, I don't know if he posts more often or not. Then I'll see Curtis and Jake with Cool McCrouse and Adrian. All those I'll see pop up or down there, but usually Brian's is up, which he posts pretty often. He's almost like Doc at Last Best Tool with work videos, and I watch nearly every single one of his. But he also does kind of more work along the lines of the same stuff I do. So what he's doing is more along the lines of what I do by myself. But then on the flip side of that, I also, and it's probably primarily what I do is commercial remodels and stuff with my buddy. Like I spend more time working with him than I do working on my own. I just kind of work on my own in between the bigger jobs. But long term, what he's doing is what I want to be doing, just 100% that stuff. But my buddy is older than me, and he might work longer than me though. I don't know. I don't see him ever quitting working. But once basically I'm gonna work with him until he decides he doesn't want to, and then at that point I'll be by myself, and I'm not going to do some of the stuff that I'm doing now with him. I wouldn't do that by myself, and I don't really have anybody else that I want to work with to say, hey, I need help on this job, that kind of stuff. I'm just by the time I get to that point, I'm going to be ready just to be like, I'm taking my truck and my tool bag. It has to be stuff I can lift by myself, all that kind of stuff. That's the only kind of work I'm going to be looking for. Big fan of you and Ray. Kraus really slowed down on YouTube once he went out on his own. Hope all's well. Now that some of you folks have seen my basic loadout, you can understand why I like my TPXXL, some way said. You want to be messing up things like Brian. Yeah, he does a lot more. I don't do as many plumbing jobs as what he does. Like I don't do like the drain stuff. Like I'm not going to buy any of the big drain equipment like he's got. Basically, if somebody calls me with that, I'm like, and I can kind of tell over the phone if they tell me what all's backing up. Like I'll be like, no, here's a plumber's number. You can call him. He'll come do it. Like I've got people that I just give their number out. As somebody calls me and says my kitchen sink is backed up, or my, just my tub, or my toilet's clogged or whatever, and that's the only thing that's clogged up, then I'll usually go see if I can get it fixed. But if they're like, I've got water coming up everywhere, I'm like, yeah, I don't have that machine, and I'm not packing that machine around with me. So here's somebody's number. Tools Tools with Tim said nothing like watching MM on a chilly night with the kids. Yeah, I'm glad the weather's finally starting to get that way. Other than I need to get my siding on my building so I can get it painted before it gets cold. But I've been seeing the little, oh, I call them the woolly worms or whatever. They're all solid black, and I'm pretty sure that means we're going to have a bad winter. But I don't know if that's true or not. But I've been seeing those around like crazy. Brian doesn't live far from me. Oh, Matt said that he got a free little giant ladder thanks to him, Brian. That reminds me, I went to my Home Depot was having Pro Week this week. I don't know if it was a local thing or if it was like a, everywhere across the country. Home Depot was having their Pro Week. So, like, all week long, they had like you could come in and meet uh, the pro staff one day and then come in and meet and then get like shirts or whatever and then come in and meet different vendors one day, and then they had lunch on Wednesday, and then they had to where you could put in your name for raffles and stuff. But I ended up getting a free 6 foot ladder. I did get a 6 foot ladder. Not that I need it. That's what whenever I called Miss Maintenance and told her, I said, "Well, I want another ladder." She said, "Oh, great! Like you need another ladder." But actually, I don't have very many 6 foot ladders. I didn't even have one for whatever reason. I've got 4 foot ones galore. I've got 5 foot ones, and then I got 8 foot, and then I got like the foldable extensions that go to the taller A-frame type. But for whatever reason, I think it's because I almost always work off of a 4 foot ladder. And then every now and then I need a 5 foot ladder, like if somebody's got 10 foot ceilings or something like that. But that 6 foot was one of those that wouldn't fit in my truck bed with the stuff in there without being able to not be able to shut my lid. And then a 5 foot when I can. So I think that's why. But I just never had bought a 6 footer. We'll see you plumbing. Muy haha does plumbing, but also call local plumbers all the time. Yeah, I've got a list of subs that I give out pretty regularly and to my customers, even if I can't get to something or whatever, or there's all sorts of jobs that it's just not really something there's all sorts of things that I get called for that's not really, I could do it by myself, but it's really not efficient and it's going to cost them more money in the big scheme of things with me doing it by myself, or it's just going to be way too time consuming for me to give up that much time on that type of a project or whatever it is, to feel like I'm not ripping the customer off basically. So I end up just giving their number out to somebody else that's a crew, or, they've got like it's a bigger company with multiple trucks and all that kind of stuff. So I've got people who I still give out their number and give all kinds of business to. And then every now and then they'll give out mine, to somebody too, because it's something they can't get to because sometimes they're booked out a little more than me or whatever. But it all works out. We got kind of a group of people that we've done work with over the last 20 years, whether I hired them as subcontractors whenever I was the facilities manager at the place I worked at, or they were the subs I used whenever I was doing commercial construction project management and stuff like that. And then so we just we're always giving out each other's names. Jeff said here in Texas, the tarantulas will start migrating. Old timers say the first freeze will be within 30 days of that. Yeah, we've got the little fuzzy worms. Again, I can't remember what people call them. I think we call them woolly worms here or something like that. Breaking Free said, I can't wait until it's too cold to paint outside. I'm over it. Yeah, I'm not a big painting person either. That's just like the wall that I did the drywall in that, if y'all watch the silicone mud pan video, I painted that wall, painted the door, painted the trim, did all that because it was just one wall. I'm not going to mess with trying to schedule a painter to come do that kind of stuff. It's just easier for me to just go ahead and do it. That way I can start, finish, be done. But I went and I've got like basically a commercial suite turn to do. All sorts of drywall repair. They got stuff stuck all over the walls that whenever you take it off, it's going to rip the paper off. It's going to be a lot of skim coating, flooring damage, all that kind of stuff. And then the whole place needs to be painted baseboard, doors, walls, whole 9 yards. And it's like, no, I'm getting my painting buddy to come get me a price for this, because I don't like painting enough to do that much of it. Like, I'm fine, I'm okay at it, good at it, don't mind doing it, but it's just not my preference. And I didn't mind doing it as much when I worked at the place I worked at, because it was like all my supplies were there. You can go clean your stuff pretty easy, you know. And then the biggest thing is, like, you put a coat on, then I could go just work on something else and come back later. Versus now working out of my truck and painting, that's like it totally stinks in my opinion. Like, having something to do with all the stuff that's got paint on it and all that kind of stuff, and transporting all that stuff back and forth. It's just nowhere near. I didn't like painting that much before, but I really hate painting like out of a truck and working. Now, if I was working at a facility and everything was already there, I move it to the room, I leave it in there, I do a coat, go work on something else, come back, do another coat. Not that bad, but I don't like doing it by myself. As a, business that kind of travels. Need to get a Werner lead safe X3 or X5. I want the little green giant 3-step you had, but I can't find it anymore. Yeah, every now and then it's on Amazon. Lowe's used to sell it. Like, my Lowe's never had it in a store, but it was online at Lowe's, and then some stores actually had them, and then they were clearancing them out for pretty cheap. But my Lowe's never did have them. So, say that name again. Oh, probably the Mui Haha. I use the King Combo Little Giant. I've got one of those on my truck too. So I keep one of those. I keep the little Sure Step in my truck in the back, where I just open my back and pull it out. And then I keep a King Combo and then a Werner extension foldable ladder up on my camper topper, strapped in. But I typically can do most things with that little ladder, and then that makes it to where I don't have to unstrap and strap. Basically, if I got to get my big ladder off my truck, I kind of made the rule, and I think I even heard Brian say that in one of his videos one day. He's like, I don't get that ladder off my truck for less than $200, because it's such a pain to, unstrap that ladder, like a big extension ladder, get it off, manhandle it over to wherever you're working at, put it back up. I want to hear Joey Espino. I got 4 6-foot ladders, 3 of them at a garage sale for $50 for all 3. There's Steve's Woodshop and Tool Reviews. Silicone pan looked hard to hold, like it was too soft. It's actually not too bad. It's in my truck, or I'd get it out. I think if it was much bigger, I think that's the reason why they made it 10.5 inches, because I think if you went to a 12-inch, 14-inch, or whatever, I think it would be, because it actually was a lot more stiff than I kind of expected it to be, because most of the silicone things I have, like those paint trays and all that other stuff, they're pretty, floppy, like really bad. But it's not too bad if while you're holding it in your hand, as long as you got it kind of centered. And you can't it's a smaller pan, so you can't put as much mud in it. So again, it's not really made for, I'm going to use this to, mud a ton. It's more of a patch pan, in my opinion. I mean, you could use it. You're just going to be refilling it pretty often. But like, I could have put enough mud in that to do both sides of basically that wall. And it only had the one seam in the middle. And then I had 2 little short butt joints at the doorway. I could have done both with maybe filling that pan up 100% all the way. That's about the most that you're going to get out of it. Somebody got another annex ratcheting driver. I got the 3-foot and the 6-foot. They're my best friends. I'm only 5 foot, so pretty much live on my ladders. Yeah, luckily, like I said, I can get with that little, I think the little Sure Step, I want to say, is 24, 2 foot off the ground. It might be a 30-inch or something like that, but I think it's 24 inches. But me being 6 foot tall, standing on that, I can pretty much do it, because most of the places I go have 8-foot ceilings, almost in residential, especially. Um, but if I get into a fixture That's when I've had to get that king combo down a couple times for like 9. I don't think I've had to on 9-foot ceilings, but I think I have on 10. Or sometimes on a 9-foot ceiling on a ceiling fan, there's some screws that are like up above something after you put it in that you got to go in and put in, and I can't see it. If I could see it and line it up and get it started, I wouldn't have to get a taller ladder. But sometimes I've got to get it to be able to get up there and put it in the right spot. But it's pretty rare I got to get down. I probably have only got that king combo down a handful of times. Usually it's always either that short ladder or I got to get that big dude out. So House of Tools still hadn't shipped out the PB Swiss Evo screwdriver set you ordered. It's been a month, Tyrone said. They were supposed to be sending me a set, and then I never did hear anything more from them. I probably 2 or 3 emails back and forth with them about them asking me about it, and then me giving them my info and all that kind of stuff, and then I never did hear anything about it. So I didn't order any of them because I thought I was getting some. Yeah, Lexi said she hadn't got the Klein ball handle, and then Matt said it's nice, but there is a $15 off, $75 on Amazon on quite a bit of Klein stuff. If you spend $75, you get $15 off, and the ball handle is one of those items. Like, they got a bunch of items. Are there any painters in your area that charge by the day in your area? Do they all charge by the job? Uh, Most of the ones that, like, I even worked, we were in the same building whenever I was working in commercial construction with a big painting company. Like, they were next door to us, and we used them on every one of our jobs and all that kind of stuff. And I'd go over there and give them stuff to bid, and they always bid everything by square foot. Like, that's how they priced everything. So, like, they had a basic number per coat of and that included their paint materials, everything. They had got it down to a science of, if I make this many cents per square foot, that's where they're making their money. So that's how they bid all their stuff. So I don't know if they ever look at it in the sense of by the day. I don't know of anybody particularly that does that. Now that's how I bid stuff. I don't do, like, I got square foot prices for flooring and stuff in my mind and in my computer, but that's not like, if somebody calls me and says, how much do you charge a square foot to lay this floor? I'm like, it depends, how many doorways you have, uh, how much is it? Because if you only got this small little laundry room that you want to floor in, I'm going to have to drive out there. I'm going to have to bring all my tools out there, get all my tools out, put all my tools back up. It doesn't matter if you got a lot of floor or a little floor, if it's going to take me a whole day of that kind of stuff. So everything's a little bit different. But again, I usually have a price in my mind of what it costs for, like, me to lay LVT or me to lay whatever. And then I kind of look at the job and say, I can get this done in a day, or I can get this done in 2 days. And then I know how much I want to make in a day. And then I see if that comes out square footage wise, just to see if I'm kind of right on that. And then I just use it kind of like a bidding, like, check, essentially. Because if I think it's going to take me 2 days and then I divide that by the square foot, how much I'm going to make, and it comes out to like half the price of what I normally charge per square foot, I'm like, well, it's obviously going to take me longer than that. I'm thinking of something different or something. So I don't ever do it. I don't trust, not all square footage is the same. So I don't like, figuring up prices that way. So I guess in that sense, you're bidding by the job if it's your square footage. You keep buying tools, Joe, and you're going to be pulling up to your customer's place in a tractor trailer. Hopefully, I'm going to get to the point where, it's, again, my big thing would be eventually getting to the point where it's mostly tool bag jobs, and maybe a couple power tools, and that's about it. And I won't be carrying as much stuff. But I don't know. Matt said, that's why I like the lean safe. It gets me to the second story most of the time, barely in half the weight if you get the fiberglass versus random aluminum combo ladder. Roy said he was in the same boat as Lexi. He gave up on the back order on the Klein ball handle and just bought more vessels. I still use I use my vessel tang throughs more than the Klein ball handle just because I've got the Klein ball handle in the SC45 and I've got the vessel tang throughs in my MP pouch. My MP pouch is by far my most used of everything because I like it and it works for most stuff. And I keep a dedicated slotted Phillips, and that's what I prefer to use instead of swapping bits around. And 9 times out of 10, that's what I run into. So I'm still using them more often than the Klein ball handle. How do you like your Carhartt seat covers? T Gig said they've been by far the best seat covers. I got a good deal on them. I got them on eBay for like crazy cheap, and they just so happen to be my model of truck and all that kind of stuff. But I would pay the regular price for them. Like now, if I bought a new truck, like I'd go buy them the very beginning because I've had mine in my truck now for I don't know. I'd have to go back and look and see, but it's been every bit of probably 5, 6 years, maybe even longer than that. And I can still take them and put them in the wash machine. They'll look just like the day I bought them. No rips, no nothing. And like if I just went to Walmart and bought seat covers, I'd already went through like 10 pairs of them by now. They just always rip. So I mean, they're very expensive. Like if you buy them full price, they're like crazy expensive, but they're super nice. Lexi said she's got 2 whole bags of extra tools, basically tools that are too nice to use. Is that even a thing? Yeah, I think most people, I know most people in the circle here, that's the case for all of us, I think. Terry got a little giant king combo this week. Haven't used it as an extension ladder yet. I think I have one time, like I was on the corner of a house. Actually, I think I might even had it in one of those watch me work videos. I was changing some exterior lights out and I used it there because I already had it out and I folded it up. I think that's the only time I've ever used mine like that. Your eBay purchases come in yet? I got one of them. I'm still waiting on the other one. Yeah, that's another thing I've got coming. I forgot all about that, Clint, till you just said that. I thought I had those sitting out here, but I don't. Somebody said boob lights, question mark. Matt said he can change boob lights since he's 6'5" without any step stool. That's the ones some way that have the globe with a little piece at the bottom that you just screw on to hold the globe up and it looks like a boob. So that's why people call them boob lights. We need more Debbie truck mods. Yeah, I haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't had a lot of extra free time in the last several months just because it's either been filming videos, working, or working on, this thing. And now that I've gotten kind of, which I'm remotely caught up on my work, other than I have bid a lot of stuff in the last little bit. And if that happens, I'll be busy. But only thing I've got still left on the for sure doing like in the next little bit is a like exterior front door that's like I think it's a 64-inch wide door, I guess, like a door with 2 side lights. I think it's supposed to be coming in today, so I'll probably be doing that the first of next week. And then I didn't schedule much stuff, anything next week on purpose. And then so hopefully I'll be able to work on this a little bit. But there for a while I was playing catch up, but I'm finally almost caught back up. 12-hour day, finally locking up and heading home, Jeff Bowery said. I don't know. I only do 12-hour days usually whenever I'm working at my house doing my own stuff. I've gotten to where I don't work very late for the most part, but sometimes you have to. That's all there is. I mean, sometimes you get in the middle of something and it's either work late today or pack up a bunch of stuff and go home and then come back and unpack that stuff again. And then, just to finish up something, or you can just stay and do it. And that's the case sometimes where it's just like, nah, I'm just going to stay late and do it. I was kind of that way the other day whenever I was painting that wall. We got a coat on, and then I was like, it really needs another one. I could go ahead and just wait a little while and put one on, but I've had some trouble in the last little bit. Like if I put an extra, like if you put a second coat on like pretty fast after you put the first coat on, like it seems like it does okay. But if you kind of wait this certain amount, it causes more problems than what it's worth if you go and put another one on again. I'm not a professional painter or anything by any means. That's just my own experience. So I kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm not even going to chance it. I'm just going to go home. We'll come back and then put another coat on this and finish everything out the next day. No, they're not in here. I was thinking I brought something else out here. I guess I'll save that for a video too. You guys used, let me see. I know I got those in here. I just got some of these and used them. I hadn't never used them before. They worked out pretty good. It's almost it's like ceiling grid wire that somebody had. That's what basically this is. I know that's what the material is. It's the same wire that you use for hanging ceiling grid. But these little picture hangers that are the hooks, we were hanging a bunch of pictures, so I picked up a pack of these to see if it would be faster and less mess. But you just basically poke that into the hole, and then it comes around and hooks onto the back side of the drywall and gives you that little dude. Pretty nice. They're pretty expensive though, but it saves a lot of drilling, keeping up with the drywall dust, putting an anchor in, all that kind of stuff. If you're not holding a ton of weight, it says 35 pounds, which this one actually has two things in there. There's one smaller that's 35 pounds and one that's bigger that's 50 pounds. Like I said, that's essentially the ceiling grid wire is what that is, or that I use all the time is that thick. And somebody's just molded it into these and cut pieces of it. And that ceiling grid wire, like that's that thick, it will hold just about anything. Yeah, it was me and my buddy were going around and hanging pictures all over this place that just opened. They had tons of artwork and all that. And we were trying to do it so that we didn't have to end up cleaning like going around with vacuums and just making less noise. That was going to be a less noisy process. Basically, you just poke a hole in the wall, flip it around, hang something on there, no tools involved, that kind of stuff. So that's why we were trying them out, mostly for the noise factor. Try the 3M claw drywall picture hangers. Legit awesome. I'll have to check that out. I'm gonna look at my drawers over here real fast and make sure I didn't have some. I'm trying to think of what I put stuff in certain drawers that I'm gonna make videos for or whatever, and make sure I didn't have something. No, that's all. When I get to them, nothing I couldn't remember. I'm trying to actually think of what else I know. The one thing I've got coming from the Prime Day, but I've got something else. I'm trying to even remember what it was I ordered. I didn't find a lot of Prime Day stuff that was like, again, I keep an Amazon list it's pretty long. I go through it every so often just to see if the price changes on stuff. So whenever Prime Day or something happens, I've already got a long list of stuff I'm kind of looking at. So I just go to that list and look and see if they've got any deals going on any of them. And there wasn't very many things in my list that actually had like the Prime Day deal thing going on. They had a lot of Fluke stuff on sale. There isn't really anything fluke. The only thing I thought about trying is that breaker finder that Fluke has. I think Tools and Tactics just had a video on it not too long ago, and it was like 20 or 30 bucks off that. But I really don't need it. And the Kywitz one's actually working very well for me, so I like it. I gave my Klein one to my buddy. He needed one. I said, well, here, you can take this one for now and borrow. He just wanted to borrow it. And I said, you can go ahead and just keep that one. If I want another one, I'll get another one because I got the Kywitz one. It works fine. Breaking Free was having a crappy Wednesday until I realized it was Thursday. I've been off all this week too. And then my buddy, we finished up that wall yesterday. And he said, would you want me to come out to your house and help you Thursday? And I said, well, I can't work tomorrow because I'm going to be watching my grandbaby. And he said, well, do you want me to come to your house Thursday and help you on your building? And I said, well, tomorrow's Thursday. And he was like, no. And then we were back and forth so I ended up I wasn't wearing my watch. And I was like, well, I got to go see what day it actually is because I could have swore it was today was Wednesday, the day I was talking to him. And so we've been off all week for whatever reason. I don't know why it was. Something's happened to where we were off by the days too. So I don't know what went on with that. And I keep having these sponsor things come up. Now it done got rid of my chat. There we go. Elliott watched the Jags beat the Chiefs Monday night. That was a great start to the week. Yeah, anytime the Chiefs lose, in my opinion, is a great start to the week. There might be some Chiefs fans in here. I don't know, but how's my SPMC holding up with the MP1X hanging off the side pocket? Not sure mine will hold up for a couple years. I don't run mine like that all the time. I just do that in the certain instance where I want to carry both in. But normally I don't leave it on there in my truck. I've got my MP1X hung up on a rail and then my SPMC sitting there. So I only put it in there. It'd be few and far between that I would end up doing that. So I don't know how it would make it hold up long term either. Matt wants the Fluke breaker finder, but I resisted. Only $6 more on Prime Day, more than Prime Day. Yeah, I try to remember too because that's a little trick thing on Amazon because sometimes you'll see like 60% off of something, but really it's always normally 50% off the normal price on it, but it's 60% off that like MSRP type price. So I have to in my mind be like, what was that originally? Like I can't remember how much that was because I don't think that's as much off as what I would think because sometimes they're only like taking a couple bucks off. So it's not like it's huge or anything. Lexi said she keeps hers on there and it's been holding up well. Pie Guy finally pulled the trigger on the 325, $2.99 on Amazon deal days. So somebody was just asking me on the Anning video about my Fluke meter. I guess they were looking for the 324 and couldn't find it. And I think they quit making the 324. So I don't know if the 325, if that's the compatible to the 324, if it's got all the same stuff on it. Maybe that's the newer model or something. I don't know what all's on the 325. That's what I told the guy. I said, I'm not real sure. I know it is like very hard to find a 324 nowadays. So I don't know what they changed or what's the equivalent of that one today. Elliott's pre-ordered the M18 Surge. I asked the Milwaukee dealer in Home Depot the other day. I said, when are y'all supposed to be getting that M18 Surge like here at the store? And he said he didn't think that you'd probably see it at the Home Depot store until probably like late November, December. He said, now you might be able to order it online and ship it to the store like before then. But he said, you probably won't see it in the store until then, at least my store. I don't know about everybody else's store. Put Joey in a rainforest with Discord. Yeah, I can't hardly even keep like with the group chat thing and then the Discord and all that. The Discord, very rarely I even open that. And usually whenever I do, I'm just looking at that general section. I don't even go into every single folder that y'all got going on. It's like I can't keep up with all that because between that and the YouTube comments, just the general chat. Like I opened up my phone today and I was behind 86 in the group chat thing messages. The Anning is what I have. Might have two of them. 325 replaced the 324. Yeah, so that's good to know in case somebody asks me again. I can say that basically the 325 is the replacement. Some of the prime deals aren't even deals. They show a higher normal price and say they're marking it down. Yeah, they even do that all the time. Like even whenever it's not Prime Day, you'll see like something that's the same price as what it is at Home Depot or Lowe's, but it'll still act like they're giving you 30% off or 40% off. But that's because they got some crazy number over there for the actual price, and that's not how much it costs anywhere else. So raise the price one week to have a sale the next week. Yeah, I even had to turn the notifications off on the Discord because it's like between YouTube comments, group chat, Discord, is like my phone was like bing, 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 bing. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Make sure that fly didn't go down in my coffee. Somebody finished the last of the homes in that community, so back to unemployed again for a little while. Matt said he's got the notifications off too and just checks it as paperwork time allows. That's basically me too. I just open my phone and see how far I am behind the time where I've got like a break in something, and I start looking at it then. Man, I keep getting more sponsored blocking my chat off tonight than I normally have, I think, in the past. Which again, I don't have the fancy YouTube that's free or the no ads or any of that kind of stuff, premium or whatever you call it. But it seems like I almost never had to take and hit the X on the little sponsored stuff blocking the chat, but I've had to do it like 15 times a night. I hate when I hold off buying something for the price to go down, and all of a sudden the price skyrockets. Yeah, or sometimes I'm just deciding on something for a little while, and for whatever reason, or I can't find it then after that point, and I've been sitting there debating on it. Jeff said, "Who plays tonight?" I think it's the Eagles and the Giants. So I don't know how good of a game that will be. Although the Giants are a little bit more interesting to watch. I really like that. What's his name? The Scadaboo or whatever his name is. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but he reminds me of a guy I used to play football with. A little bit crazy, I think. There's Miss Maintenance. She said Giants and Eagles. I've never seen an ad while watching a live yet. So yeah, it's not an ad that's coming up on my like blocking my video. And I don't know. Yeah, I have seen them though. Whenever I've watched other people's, maybe it doesn't do it on mine like here because it's me and it's my live. But like I've had ads come up like if I've watched other people's lives, but this is like so I've got the picture of the video over here and I've got the live chat off to the side, but there's stuff that keeps coming up over top of the live chat that I've got to hit an X on to where I can see the live chat again. Best Prime Day deal Steve got was a 20-piece deep SAE and metric Connect set for $48. Yeah, they had the Klein Connect set off quite a bit. That was I think this set it's on underneath my iPad too. I think it was this set here they had for $48. I'm using these as risers for my iPad and my coffee cup. I think it was this set. Was that right, Steve? This set right here. I think they had this one for $48. I haven't really used that set that much. I've just left it in here in my garage just to use in my garage because I've got the pass through set in there. And for the most part, that works for me. So I don't think he's reading the live chat. Yeah, I've got it on live chat and I've got it on all messages. Now, sometimes I forget and I've got it on like top comments or something like that and it puts them out of order, but I did change it to all messages. So Clint said, I waited for the Astro ratchet for price to go down and then they discontinued it, but Matt's a lifesaver and sent it to him. So Chad Powers is the name of the movie. Yeah. Does anyone else struggle to get the mod boxes apart when they're trying to be quick? Um, I don't know that I've ever really had to try to be quick. Getting them back together sometimes I know getting them back together, I think I have a harder time of remembering which side I put on first. Because like I'll come back here and be like, oh no, I got to put this side on first and then do it. It takes me a little while just because I don't get out a ton of them at one time though. It's usually I get them out of my truck and I've only got them stacked usually like too high because that's what fits in my drawer. So I'm never taking off like a bunch of them. But I do know whenever I go to put them back together, I have to think about no, this is the side you put on last. You know the put together. So basically, you got to make this hit, wherever it hits, and then snap this back here. Especially when you get into the when you're putting the different size ones together, then it gets even a little bit more tricky because you got to locate it. You got to remember that it needs to go, like if this one was bigger, it's got to go, or if this one was bigger, it's got to go back to this side instead of, you hanging it on the front, it's got to land in here, so once you get into different size one, it gets a little bit even more tricky. Roy said his mod box works fine, but he's a government employee, never tries to hurry. B1062 suggestion for a ratcheting screwdriver. Well, everybody in here likes them all except for the Annex ratcheting screwdriver. They all despise that one, so they're definitely going to not recommend that one to you. Another sponsor. Currently have the Klein 13-in-1 for 2 months, and I feel like it's worn out already. Lexi said Vessel's my favorite. Never really liked the ratchet drivers. Clint said I have trouble getting the mod box apart. If I have two smalls on a larger one, fingers don't fit between. And I was joking, B1062. They're going to say the Annex ratcheting screwdriver is the best one. I don't have that one, but it makes sense. Whenever I see where the switch is on it and all that kind of stuff, I could see that being one of the better ones. But that's a ball handle. So if you've never really used a ball handle, you're really missing out, but you might not like them. Steve's Woodshop said PB Swiss, which I bought a PB Swiss ratcheting driver. I did a giveaway of it just because I didn't like the length of the shaft on it. If I'd have got the longer one, I probably would have kept it. And it was a good like feel on the ratcheting on it. But they're really expensive too. They're like, $70 to $80. So my goal tomorrow, I can only work about a half a day, is get that double window in, maybe get my siding on my front of my building up here, because all that's going to have cuts on the bottom. So I'm going to have to cut all those and then prime and paint again those just at the bottom because it's going to be like a unfinished edge. And it's more cut. But then I can finish. I can start working on my porch at the point whenever I get that done. So hopefully, like if once I get the front siding on, like I can keep siding at some point. And if my buddy comes to help me, he can work on my porch thing or whatever. Did you get the 5-drawer latch taken off your 5-drawer? I haven't done it yet. It looked pretty simple on that video you sent me. Yeah, it comes right out. I mean, that's really easy. I mean, it took me right there 2 seconds. I'm for sure going to take mine out, the little latch mechanisms. Somebody said for small detail stuff, the Vera 838 is great. That is one of the few ratcheting screwdrivers that I use, and it's in my truck too. But it actually stays in my SPMC. That's how much I use it. Works really good for like towel bars and all that kind of stuff because it's small enough I can put a hex bit in it and get back in there, and it's ratcheting. So I use it for that kind of stuff. Also, we need to know bit storage, magnetic locking bit holder. What do you want? I don't know if that's to me. Magnetic locking bit holder. If you're asking me, it's still the DeWalt. If you stop buying all those little Debbies, you could afford PB Swiss. I like LD Swiss rolls instead of PB Swiss. Actually, I don't like the little Debbie Swiss rolls. So I don't like a lot of the chocolate stuff of Little Debbie. Like there's very like I'm not a big chocolate person anyways, unless it's like a Reese cup or something with peanut butter, whatever. But there's not a lot of the chocolate. The only Little Debbie chocolate thing I liked was the used to be covered in white. It was black cake or chocolate cake with white icing. They were square and they had little chocolate dots on the top of them. I really like those. Oh, so I got you. You're wanting to know. Matt was asking to get you the right ratcheting screwdriver. We need to know what kind of locking mechanism you're looking for on that ratcheting screwdriver. That's a big question to get you the right fit. So you weren't asking me the question. You were asking him the question. Breaking Free is going to get a second job so they can buy the Weehaw electric screwdriver. I have the Norsky magnetic, bit too bulky but strong magnet. It never ends said. I'm still a big DeWalt locking bit holder fan so far. That's the one I use the most. I mean, I still use the other ones too, but it's the one I use the most just because of the size of it. I'm giving my expert opinion on the Little Debbie cakes tonight. Yeah, over the course of time, there's been some things like as a kid, I didn't like Star Crunches, and now they are like one of the better things, which I also didn't like the Girl Scout cookies that were like even though that's not what Star Crunches aren't coconut or whatever, but it's kind of texture wise very similar to those Samoas or whatever. And now those are one of my favorite Girl Scout cookies. I wouldn't have even ate those when I was a kid. But whenever I was a kid, it was pretty much the peanut butter bars, not the Nutty Buddies, but the peanut butter bars are like a cylinder shape with a peanut butter thing in the middle of them. Those were the ones I ate the most. And I got some of those not too long ago, and they weren't as good as what I remembered them being whenever I was a kid. I actually prefer the Nutty Buddies now compared to those. And whenever I was a kid, I'd rather have those than the Nutty Buddy. And then those ones I was just talking about with the chocolate cake and the white icing and the little dots, I've never seen those since I was younger. Like I haven't seen them in a long time. I don't know if they still make those or not. I don't remember what they were called because it's not the zebra cakes. Like the zebra cakes have the white cake in the middle of them, and then the white icing, and then some chocolate like lines or whatever. And I don't like those as well either as those ones. But I don't know if they make the ones that I liked as much anymore. Now my favorite ones are the peanut butter cream pie is number one. Probably Star Crunch or Nutty Buddy number 2 and 3, kind of in whatever order you want to get those. Then the oatmeal cream pie is probably right there with it. I like the peanut butter cream pie better. And then other than that, I just usually get some random stuff sometimes, just if I see something that's a little bit different that I haven't had in a long time, like they got those unicorn cakes or whatever. Those aren't too bad. I don't typically like any of the, again, chocolate stuff. The cosmic brownies, they got a weird taste to them in my opinion too. I don't not like them, but not my not my preference. Last one today, somebody dropped their medicine bottle, looked like a travel shampoo bottle down the toilet when she flushed. Tried everything to keep from taking the toilet out, even tried my Milwaukee vacuum. Yeah, sometimes it's very hard to get the stuff to come back out of the toilet from without having to pull it. Like, just depends on how far it made it. Somebody said by far the DeWalt locking magnetic bit holder. I want a Weehaw Central fix, but when it's not $40. Suzy Q's are back and as big as the old ones. Sports and snacks were doomed. Amanda, Miss Maintenance said oatmeal cream pies have gotten smaller too. They have. Like, if you don't get the big ones, like if you just get the normal pack where I mean, they're pretty small. Uh, you've had the Little Debbie's had some shrinkflation going on. Christmas tree cakes. Yeah, that's the other. Like I said, there's Little Debbie stuff that all throughout the year at certain times they put out stuff that I'll get those if I'm getting something and they're out, like just random stuff. Like, I just got those pumpkin spice cream pies this last time because I knew Miss Maintenance really likes the pumpkin spice stuff, so I got those to try. They weren't bad, but I'd still rather have a regular oatmeal cream pie, and I'd definitely rather have a peanut butter cream pie. Raw broccoli and ranch dressing. It's almost as good as a Little Debbie. TPG likes PB on crackers, toast, or soft bread, but not in desserts. I like peanut butter on just about. It's one of my favorite things. Like, if you put peanut butter on anything, it's good, in my opinion. Like, if I was allergic to peanut butter, I don't even know what I'd do with my life. Eating a peanut butter cream pie right now, it's a wonderful life. Roy, here's the thing, Roy, if you get you 2 peanut butter cream pies and put them in a bowl and then put them in the microwave for like 40 seconds and then get you some ice cream, whatever. It's got to be a vanilla ice cream of some sort. Chocolate's not as good. I don't like chocolate ice cream either. But like, you can get even just plain vanilla, or if you get some that's got some caramel stuff in it, or best one that I've ever had, they quit selling it up here at my dollar store, is the Butterfinger ice cream. Like, they had a Butterfinger ice cream in a little quart or whatever. And you take some of that and put it on the hot peanut butter cream pies. Man, if you put that in a restaurant, you could charge $15 for it and people will be buying it like crazy. It's the best thing you've ever ate. Lexi said, are you ever in the middle of snacking and eat the last of something without realizing sad stuff? That reminds me of the King of Queens episode where Doug's sitting there eating chocolate pudding and he gets done with his and he's like, I'm sad. And Carrie gave him hers. Matt said, I did the TPG thing the other day. Natural peanut butter, just crushed PB and crackers. Abraham said, I want to share a phrase from work that's common sense but important to share. Trust but verify. Yeah, pretty important. It never ends said they hit a aerosol spray container that got flushed with a drain snake. Looked like Ace Ventura coming out of the bathroom. Do not go in there. Dude cut into a hot MC cable at work and burned out his bandsaw blade. My biggest vice is the Reese's Christmas trees. I love peanut butter, but now I have developed an allergy to it. Yeah, like I said, if I ended up somehow or other being allergic to peanut butter, I don't know what I'd do with my life. Although I will say, like I'm a Jif person. Like that's one of the few things where it's like I want my Jif peanut butter. Like I I get the Kroger brand if it's on sale for super cheap or whatever. But there's a big difference to me between Jif and the other stuff. But here lately, every peanut butter that we've bought, like I've bought the Kroger brand. I've tried Skippy because it was on sale one time. Because the last time I bought Jif, it just didn't have a lot of like it didn't taste the same to me. Like it wasn't as peanut buttery or something. So I was like, well, if it's not gonna taste as good, I'm gonna go ahead and see what this other stuff is. But Jif's usually my jam. I tell my wife if I was allergic to PB, I'd just have to have an EpiPen necklace. TBG will eat Reese's, and I've kind of like whenever like Reese's was the only really even candy bar I would even eat for a long time, and I think I've almost burnt myself out on those to where it's not. Which I don't eat a lot of that kind of like the candy bars like at the cash register and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't ever usually get those. So I don't only time I probably even get Reese's and the reason why I probably haven't had them and so or don't eat them as often is because like it's just not like my kids are even used to be the big thing at Halloween. If your kids come home, it's like dad gets to take the Reese's tax, and get all your Reese's peanut butter cups or at least a bunch of them. And I don't have kids that age and stuff anymore, so I don't eat as much Reese's as I used to, but they are good. Does the maker of your work vest do alterations like letting out? No, you just gotta make it fit. Luckily, it's still going, but I'm getting to the point where it's getting tighter. I'm gonna have to do something for too long. I just haven't talked myself into it yet. I got to get like total mindset on time to lose some weight. I have no problem doing it once I decide I'm going to do it. I just haven't really got full blown into boom, I'm going to do it yet. Miss Maintenance has been trying to get me to do it. She's been making fun of me all the time about being fat. Roy didn't even think about doctoring those up. Oh, I'm telling you, the hot peanut butter cream pies with ice cream on top of it, phenomenal. If they would come out with a tub of Reese's filling, I'd be dead. Yeah, they've got the Reese's peanut butter. I've actually never even had that. I don't know what it tastes like out of the jar. I assume it's probably not the same as like what's exactly in the middle of a Reese's, but I'm not sure. But I've not tried like the Reese's brand peanut butter before. I did get a Reese's coffee creamer, like they've got it like in that the liquid coffee creamer. I got it one time to take to somewhere. We were having something and they wanted to get some coffee creamer. I don't remember if it was like a Christmas party thing we were going to or something. I don't remember what, but I thought, well, I'm gonna try it, like, and see what it tastes like. Just not even in coffee, just drink it. I'm telling you, don't ever try it because you're gonna be like, man, I could kill this Reese's coffee creamer right now and just drink it like it's milk, pour it in a glass and drink it like a milk. No telling how many calories are in that, but it was crazy good. The natural Jif with honey is a has a hard time making it onto the crackers. My evening snacks used to be peanut butter and honey. Uh, Miss Maintenance still eats it pretty often. I used to always cut up apples and then peanut butter with apples and stuff like that. Bluebell banana pudding ice cream is the best I've ever had. It is really good. That's really good ice cream. That's one of my favorite ones, probably. It's very. I don't find it very often. Like it's only out in like every time I pass by almost a ice cream thing, I look in the Bluebell section to see if they got so happen to have the banana pudding one in there, and it's very few. And I might find it like once or twice a year. I asked Joey how you keep from being diagnosed with any health problems. He has a plan for that. Yeah, it's like I don't have, you know, I eat all the little Debbie's I want. I eat pretty much anything I want to, drink whatever I want to, drink coffee galore, monsters, and have zero health problems. And you want to know how that is? You just don't go to the doctor. You have zero health problems. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have any kind of, symptoms of anything else because if you don't let them check you, you never have it. Still sweets, come on, lasers, levels, electricians, something. Bluebell banana pudding ice cream is great. Ice cream should have things in it. Yeah, I like ice cream to have something in it. Like I'm okay with a plain whatever if I'm putting it on something else, but just like I can't imagine going and getting a vanilla ice cream out and putting it in a bowl and just eating just vanilla ice cream. Like I like it with stuff in it. Schrodinger's medical chart. I watched a couple health and weightlifting YouTubes pretty much blow it off and come back here. We're the real ones. My dad used to eat PB with syrup. He ended up shooting insulin until he moved in with us, and my wife changed his diet. My mom used to eat peanut butter mixed with like I think it was like that clear syrup. Like I remember watching her mix that up and eating it on biscuits and stuff like that. Abba Zaba or Chico Stick. Yeah, Chico Stick's something I haven't had. Actually, I did get one not too long ago. I was at the dollar store and I saw them at the cash register, and I hadn't had one since I was like a kid. And I was like, I remember eating. I remember I used to eat those all the time, and I got one. Some way said corn syrup. I don't. It was clear. I can't remember what the name of it is. Some kind of clear syrup. I never ate it. Whatever it was that she was eating, because at the time when I was a kid, I thought it looked gross, but it's probably pretty good for all I know now. It had peanut butter in it. Karo syrup. Peanut butter and chocolate gravy over biscuits. Yeah, we've got a few people at my church that make the chocolate gravy sometimes if we have things. I actually don't like it, but again, I'm not a big chocolate person. Like I'm one of those that I like chocolate in things. I don't like it to be like the star of things. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that's corn syrup, so it's healthy. It's made out of corn. That's what they've been telling us for years. It's basically like eating a vegetable. I mean, how can that be bad? Same thing as like maple syrup. I mean, that's basically from a tree. I mean, how can that be bad? Grade school used to make peanut butter and Karo syrup sandwiches. That kind of makes sense now that you say that, Killtronics, because like our peanut butter, I remember in elementary school was definitely a different texture than the peanut butter that you get at home. And maybe that's how they kind of spread that out and made it go a little bit farther as they mixed it with it. Because they also taste a little different. Like whenever you got the peanut butter sandwiches with your chili or whatever else. Matt said my grandpa never used that. It was lard and cane sugar. Corn isn't a vegetable, it's a grain. Well, even better. You're supposed to eat more grains than anything else, according to the food pyramid. So it's not like they've got an agenda out there. So all I'm saying is, if it's made out of corn, it's got to be good. Chocolate gravy's a real thing. Thought you were talking about eating Taco Bell or White Castle. No, it's a real thing. Like some people make it and put it on biscuits and stuff like that. I'd rather. I'm more of a. If I'm going to eat biscuits and gravy, I want it to be the white gravy. Now that's pretty much as good as it gets almost. Like it's pretty good stuff right there. White gravy and biscuits. Only in the South do we think corn and mac and cheese is a vegetable. Mm-mm-mm. Well, what's the score, Miss Maintenance? I'm finally down to the bottom of my coffee. It's getting cold. I do like this though, Jeff. If you're still in here, it's pretty good. So I appreciate you sending that to me. Someone said White Castle. Now I have to drive to Cincinnati the next free weekend. Man, you got to go all the way to Cincinnati to get White Castle. Oh man, back in the day, me and a buddy of mine, he lives down the road here from me, and we also worked together there for a time period. And we would go on the weekends and go to White Castle and get a crave case, and then go over to Taco Bell and get the 12 packs of tacos all at the same time and just kill those things. We still have a White Castle. We did have a Crystal in our town, but it closed. So like it just recently, which I think White Castle is better than Crystal in my opinion. But I miss fried zucchini and green tomatoes. Yeah, I like fried squash. Corn is considered a vegetable. Try Death Witch, you'll love it. Giants are about to be 14, Eagles 3. That's pretty surprising. JITB had the best tacos, best drunk tacos. 12 pack of tacos turned into soft tacos in 15 minutes. Oh, I'm always a soft taco person at Taco Bell because I know I'm going to end up. Hard shell tacos don't make it home. Like it's hard shell taco is something you have to eat like at the place if you're going to eat hard shell tacos. You do any of that putting them in a bag and eat them when you get home thing. It's like the whole bottom just falls off of them. You can't even eat them that way. Bad time to start a diet with the holidays coming up. That's what Miss Maintenance keeps telling me. She said, you keep putting this off, and now it's going to be holiday time. She said, come January, you're going to be way, way overweight. Because I go from, I've tried not to do it as much as I've gotten older, but I've been one of those that's been a get fat, and then I just have to dedicate myself for a few months, and I can get back down to my bottom weight again, and then spend another year or whatever getting back to whatever. But it has gotten a little bit harder as I've gotten older, and I tried to keep myself from doing it, but I don't remember what made me fall off the wagon this last time. But I've never got back on. The wagon rolled over me, and then I ate the wagon. But Joey can just lose a bunch of weight fast. I can if I want to. I have to, like I said, I have to get in the mindset to do it. I've done it probably 30 times over the course of the last several years. Big Debbie's body shaming me. Oh, there's no telling what all our food has in it. Summer ice cream runs and that darn little Debbie. It's Miss Maintenance's fault most of the time that I eat bad stuff. She brings it home to me. She's the one telling me not to eat oatmeal raisin cookies and stuff like that, like the Christie's cookies from Kroger. Oh man, those are phenomenal. And she's the one that tells me not to get them and not to eat them. And yet she came home just the other day with a container of Christie's oatmeal raisin cookies. I don't eat a lot of fast food, Lexi said, but I do eat a lot of processed food. I've been told that if I stop, that would help my Crohn's. Yeah, most of the stuff that we've got going on, I'd say, is the biggest part of it is all our diets. And even if it's very hard to, even if you try to eat healthy and good or whatever, there's so much stuff in all our food that it's probably no telling. I'll probably get canceled off YouTube for saying this right now, so better hold off on that. This is making me want to drive to Walmart. There's a reason why they can make certain foods and put certain things in them to make them last for a really long time on the shelf, so it can't be really that good to go into your body. Take it easy, RFK. You gotta be I don't think I can even do an RFK impression. I actually haven't seen him enough to where I'd be able to give an impression. China Mart is apparently removing all the artificial dyes from their food. But that's crazy to me, that, well, again, it's a whole big scheme of things that you could get into of why they do it. It's it's one thing benefits another thing, and whenever it's multiple things are owned by the same people, it's kind of a circle of uh your problem makes some money, then the solution makes some money, and all that kind of thing going on. But it's like, why would you even put stuff in a something that would make somebody sick just to make it look a certain color, or whatever? It's like, and you have the option to not to. While I was almost paralyzed for a couple of years, it was so unpleasant to eat that you didn't. Got down to 118. If I get down into I'm pretty happy if I'm around 200. I've gotten down to like the low 180s is about as far as I'd go, period. Even at that, I feel like I'm like too small. So I like being like in that 190s to 200 range. Have you seen cock sauce? It's not cocktail sauce. It's not red anymore. No, I haven't seen that. Tastes funny without that red 32. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what would happen to Big Red. I don't even know what's in Big Red. I don't know if I got a can. I might have a can out here. No, I had one out here earlier. I don't know what color. What color red is in Big Red? That's like even like all canned drinks. It's like, I know they make like Big Red because in a bottle or something you can see the red, but like in a can, I don't know what color that liquid is on the inside. I'm just drinking out of the can. It's like, if you can still make it taste the same without that stuff in there, just don't put that stuff in there. Sriracha, not cocktail. So sriracha. Oh, cock. So yeah, the rooster sauce. Big Red equals poison, Miss Maintenance said. Big Red equals delicious, is what it does. My doctor said there's nothing wrong with it. TPG got down to 99 when he got a load off my mind. My battle cry for some years was calories. Lexi just woke up sick one day, thought you had a bad gallbladder. It was crazy. Almost felt like it came out of nowhere. Lost a lot of weight. Slowly putting it back on. Almost back up to 130. Yeah, I think I maybe weigh, actually, I know I weighed 135 whenever I was in the eighth. No, no, it wouldn't have been middle school because it was, yeah, I guess it was eighth grade. And I only know that because in our football league, you had to weigh 135 or less to not be like to be able to carry the ball, to be a ball carrier. They had a weight limit. So that's what I weighed like exactly like 134 or something at the weigh in. I haven't seen 130 something since middle school. Matt tries to stay under 270, maybe 250, and then that's enough. Yeah, so like I said, I think I mentioned it before. So there's a weight contest. They don't do it anymore here, but it was kind of like the Biggest Loser at a certain gym would put on, and then you'd get on the news once a week. They do weigh-ins. The news would come out, and you'd weigh in on the news. And I did that one year, and I ended up winning. I came in first place, and I think over the course of that, it was like a 10-week thing, I think, and I think I lost 77 pounds over the course of the 10 weeks, and then I ended up keeping on going after the contest was over. And I think I lost a total of 100, and I got down to like 175 or something like that, and that was too small. Like for I didn't feel like I like being having some oomph on me. I felt like I was weaker at 175 than what I am at like 200. Kiltronics 230 right now, was 260 3 months ago. Would like to get to 200. Clint said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home. Drink more water." It's the answer. That is a big difference. Like if you go from drinking cokes or sweet teas and lemonades and all that stuff just to go to water, that's a big I mean, you drink a lot of calories if you drink very many cokes. Even and then I think the even the 0 calorie cokes and stuff like that, I think the chemicals and stuff in it still throw off like your metabolism and stuff, and just does stuff to your insulin and stuff a little bit differently. Even though it doesn't have sugar, it still does something, I feel like. Again, I'm not a scientist or a nutritionist or anything. I'm just talking about I've noticed differences in my own self. If I cut out all that stuff altogether, I lose weight faster than if I swap from regular Coke to Diet Coke, even though that might be a better swap and you might still lose some weight or something. But if you just cut it out altogether, you end up being better. Matt said if I was 200, I'd be a green bee. Miss Maintenance likes me heavier than 175. Yeah, she's even said like sometimes whenever I've gotten down to the smaller weight, she's even said like you're too small. I mean, whenever I get down to where you start seeing my 12 pack forming again and all my other muscles start to show out, she doesn't like that. She likes a little bit chunkier guy. Man, Miss Maintenance likes that dad bod. Many artificial sweeteners are liver toxins. Kiltronics, I drink a lot of water, tea, or MD at meals. Yeah, Miss Maintenance likes the Macho Man, Joey Savage bod. Yeah, see that was about the same time the Macho Man picture that I posted. So that was after the weight loss competition, and then I kept going to the gym because I got free membership and stuff, and it was real close to where I work, so I just go there like on my lunch breaks and stuff, even, and lift weights and stuff. And they kind of had the machines. I don't like lifting like free weights and stuff that much anymore. Like that's what I did all through school and stuff. I like the cable machines, and I like the one where it's like you got the two cables on each side and you can do different stuff. And I got to where I was pretty good shape. Like I got my guns back and all that stuff. And that's whenever I did that Macho Man picture was actually I went and did one of those. I wore that to a mud run. I don't know if y'all have any of those kind of things in your area, but basically a big obstacle course with a bunch of stuff, and me and a guy decided we was going to do that. And you're supposed to kind of dress up for it, so I dressed up as the Macho Man. I will get out that before and after pic one day. Yeah, I've got pics before and after that the gym took, and then I've got some that I took even like in front of my, you know, mirror and stuff in the bathroom and all that while I was in the process of losing weight, and I was taking pictures just to keep up with it. Breaking free, been lifting free weights for the better part of my life. If you want to live longer, lift weights. It does make a big deal. I think that's why I can also lose weight fast. That's why I've always been able to lose it fast if I really just determine that I want to. Because I don't really like, I don't starve myself or anything like that. I just change my diet, and then I've like, you can't see it on me because I'm chubby now, but I got a lot of muscle underneath my fluff. And the more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning and all that kind of stuff. And it's just the more you lift weights and stuff and keep your muscle, because you're going to lose it if you don't use it. And then also I think that helps you keep flexible and all that kind of stuff too, which I'm really unflexible. I'm not very flexible at all, but the more muscle you got underneath of your fatness, the faster, to me, the fatness comes off. I will one day get the one chin up, one day. Matt said I couldn't be the only one looking up that episode. That was pretty close to about the same time too. Like I talked about, I was in the Call the Wild Man show on the, can't remember if it came on Discovery, Animal Planet, or whatever, but he came to where I worked at, and I was in that show, and that was about the same time as that weight loss competition thing too. I think that might have actually been in the middle of it, but I was skinny in that episode. Get a second chin. It makes chin ups twice as effective. Yeah, it's like two chin ups for every one if you get a double chin. Did I tell that our window came in finally? Yeah, I mentioned that because they were asking where we were in the garage process, and I said I haven't really. I think I only worked on it one day since the what I had already finished in that video I put out. I think I've only worked on it one day since then. Because most of the time, whenever I've got home, it's one of the, I'm at the stage now where it's like not worth dragging out all my stuff unless I'm going to get quite a few hours, working on it. There's not anything where I can go, oh, well, I'm going to go do a little bit of blocking today, or I'm going to go put in one window or whatever. Everything's been, if I'm going to get my stuff out, I'm going to spend a few hours doing it type thing. Yeah, the guest the trade this week's a reload episode. So you'll get some ways answer Saturday. He was in the last Saturdays, and it's Captain Donitz. He was back in episode 71. So this one's a reload, which that's actually going to work out, I think, pretty well for me. Because like I mentioned, I don't know that I'll have a live next Thursday. And I think it would be pretty hard for me to get another one filmed if I was waiting for an answer on one to get it like uploaded and ready for Saturday. But actually, if I got time this weekend, since it's a reload, I'm not waiting on an answer. I can just come out and film next Saturdays, which is, I think it's Blood Song Tour Reviews is the next folder I've got. If I remember right, don't hold me to that, but I think that's what that is. And he's got like a Vito. He's got an MP pouch of some kind. He's got a Vito. I want to say a Tech Pack, and I'm just going off memory. I didn't look it up before I came out here. And I think he's also got like an MB bag. So 3 different Vito bags that he's using. The bag, by the way, is a Sortimo or L-Box branded bag. Yeah, it's a, I wrote it down over here, Pro Click Soft Bag S is the one that's this Saturday's. Should I say what I do or let Clint wait till Saturday? That's totally up to you. I'd make him wait. He's dying to know. Adam Savage is the only reason why I know Sortimo. So the L box, like that's what Bosch used to have. I used to have some of those because I got some whenever I bought all my 12-volt tools. They usually came in those L boxes. Uh, I actually used those and built, like, I had a Dodge Ram truck and I built wooden drawers in the back of it, and I built the drawers to fit specifically those L boxes because that's what I was using at the time. But I never really liked them because they were just basically a hard box with no organization unless you actually did something, and that was back before 3D printing was really a thing and all that kind of stuff. Morgan's Food and Maintenance. I toyed with the idea of having a food channel as well, and I had a name for it, and it was going to work out perfect with my little intro and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to give it away because then somebody might steal it if I decide to do it later. But I was going to like do little food reviews and stuff like that, like snack cakes and stuff whenever they came out, like the weird ones that were like the seasonal Oreos and all that kind of stuff. But Miss Maintenance said I couldn't go into eating professionally. Breaking Free said they had to mention a movie they just saw, Weapons. This was the weirdest movie I'd seen in a long time, but very good, a little funny. Miss Maintenance said, yeah, she shut me down. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I'm going here and watch the rest of that football game. Have to go to bed a little earlier tonight since I'm going to get up early and work on this building. I only got about a half a day I can spend on it. So I'm going to try to for sure want to get the double window in, and then again, see if I can start working on some of this siding. But now I've got so much stuff sitting here on my siding, I'm going to have to spend an hour getting the stuff off my siding because my siding has turned into a flat space in here, Matt. And you know what that does? Just collect stuff. But I'm going to get off here and we'll see y'all in the chat on Saturday. And again, maybe, most likely, not going to be alive next Thursday. There's a possibility there will be, but probably most likely not. So I'll either not have one altogether or I'll try to fit it in some other day and I'll make a post about it if something like that happens. So we'll see you guys on the next one. See you, Woodchuck and Denny. Pie guy. I'm seeing a bunch of them pop up over here. See you some way. TPG.